Welcome back. I'm MTG Joe. Today we're going to be playing some Brawl on Arena. The new format is here. Special day, couple day event. Hopefully they make this a full-time gig. So with this, I'm going to play a couple different decks here. Unlike most of the deck decks, I won't go through every single card. All the deck lists are on Aether Hub if you want to download them, but it'll come up in the games. So the first deck I wanted to play was kind of a pet deck. So this is Kykar Wind's Fury, and this is a 1,000-year Storm or Spellslinger style deck. So Kykar rewards you for playing non-creature spells. It creates 1/1 spirits, which you could then sacrifice to add a red mana. So this allows you to kind of play a bunch of spells, gain mana, play more spells, and then hopefully with 1,000-year Storm out, copy those spells and just get more value out of it. So the deck itself, you're playing a lot of cheap cantrips, stuff like that. You get rewarded like to ping damage with Electrostatic Field. Saheeli can make tokens, and then Ral can also ping. We have Divine Visitation, which makes all our spirits into 4/4 angels. And then basically what we're trying to do is either Big Expansion Explosion get copied with 1,000-year Storm, cast a bunch of spells that turn, and then just get a bunch of copies of Shock, or Bone Crusher Giant's Stomp ability. So we can copy that into the story, draws us cards. You can also do Emergency Powers. So Emergency Powers and Smothering Tide gets you to shuffle a bunch of cards, draw a bunch of cards, and create a bunch of tokens. So that's a way to kind of get that cycling. There's also the wheel where if you place Emergency Powers with Narset, your opponent doesn't get to draw any cards. And then mana base wise, a bunch of different lands for Izzet colors. We also have Field of the Dead in here for zombies, because this is the format we can play Field. So we'll run it through, see how it is. I'm assuming all we're going to be doing is playing Oko. So I'm going to play this, then I'll probably play... I have a Teferi deck and a Ayara deck, so we'll probably play 1 to 2 games of each, depending on how long they go. And then we'll be back with a couple other brews, see how it goes. So just as a kind of programming note for the weekend, so I know I haven't been making as many videos this week. I have some family from out of town in, so I'll be off this weekend. Hopefully back to play some more games afterwards. So Vraska, 4-mana Vraska. So this is a Golgari matchup. So here's the bag. We have Prison Realm for the first time. We cast Golgari. Vraska. Clear the Mind's used to shuffle our library so we don't mill out. Chemist's Insights, probably a good keep. We have all our colors. Solar Blaze is also a good way to clear the board. In Jeskai, we want to just keep as many board wipes as possible. Here, I think value-wise, we just get rid of Chemist's Insight. Here I'm going to go Temple. Don't want any more lands. So we start with 25 life in this format. Planeswalkers can be your commander. Okay, so Smothering Tide will be a good follow-up just to get us ahead on mana. So they'll probably go Vraska here. So they get the token. That's actually really good, because you could just sack the token to Vraska each turn and draw cards. Trial Crumb. So when enters battlefield, create a food token. Whenever you sack food token, if you do look top card, you'll put on your radar. So we have Field that we can play this turn. Let's take one more turn, maybe. Set up the Smothering Tide, and then we can Solar Blaze next turn. So this gives them some card advantage. Okay, so the Midnight Reaper will let them refill their hand. but then we can get a bunch of tokens off the draw effect. So they go Goose. The Goose will survive. This deals damage equal to its power. See if they drop the Midnight Reaper here or go with Vraska. Interesting. So didn't draw a land there. I got 5 mana. I could go Electrostatic Field and Prison Realm. I want to keep that for Vraska. Let's just wipe the board here. They'll keep the Goose, but that's fine. It just saves our Planeswalkers. We're not getting much utility off it right now. Getting Chandra down would be pretty good too. Okay, so they have Liliana. Okay, so let's... Not hitting a land kind of hurts these last few turns. So Historic Banner, I still think we just want to land. Just gonna set up the Electrostatic Field here. So they can just Vraska to get rid of Prison Realm to get Liliana back. We basically bought a turn like this. So we need a more permanent response to it. Chandra can come down. Kind of deal with it if it gets low enough. Missing line drops the last few turns have hurt. Okay, so they have Narset, so they can't draw extra cards. They can go Ral. Because Kykar, they just down tick Liliana. We can try to just put some pressure on them with Chandra by upticking. This stops them from drawing, so they might go after Narset for a couple turns, but they just keep going up. Come on. We'll see if we could just race them this way. So here they can draw a couple cards per turn. The more cards they draw kind of fills our pocket. We have Clarion for this initial wipe. And I can always Chandra to keep this down. Okay, so they'll get rid of the Clarion here is my guess. So we can Chandra to wipe at least. This alt's at 9. That has haste as well. So that's 6. So we got to block like this. Fortunately, we're going to lose the field here. Vraska can also sack something, so they won't be able to pay for any of it. Ooh. We have emergency powers and Narset, so we can get rid of their hand. I don't have enough. Oh, actually, maybe. So we can dump their whole hand this way. So that's 8. Yeah, we have enough. So this way, all these cards they drew go away. We are a couple short from getting the Kykar value. Put a permanent with CMC onto the battlefield, so let's go Saheeli. So here, we have Flooded Tears as well, which will be good in a couple turns. So let's just go... let's actually play out Narset. We'll take out the Divine Visitation because that'll be useful. Just do this. We could just auto pay. So just pass the turn here. We can have Saheeli copy Chromatic Lantern. So Flood of Tears is non-land permanents, because we can bounce all this stuff from them as well. I did the one thing I wanted to do, so I'm happy. So, gets rid of the Narset. That's fine. They have the wolf fight here. So we do need to do Flooded Tears. So let's put a Chandra emblem. So let's float this mana. We don't get the full value, but it resets this Liliana. And we don't get the added value to put something into play. Oh, we get to do... Ooh. Do that. And now we just kind of keep pinging them on damage. Sweet. Sweet, sweet, sweet. I like this deck. We did the thing we wanted to do. Outgrinded them that way. So we got Mesa Valiant. I'm just going to give Arena a quick reset. It likes to get troublesome at times. Oh. Don't need snipping tool here. So let me know in the comments if there are any other particular decks you'd like to see. There's obviously a lot of commanders we can play. What I'll do is let me play one of each, and then we'll go back to see which ones. So the next one up is Ayara. It's mono black. So basically, if you want to see it, it is just a lot of mono black goodness. We have the cat combo, bunch removal, kind of an Aristocrats theme. You got Rankle, Dread Presence, kind of a Reanimator sub-theme, Liliana on the top hand, Command the Dread Horde, and then just kind of playing with some of the utility lands in here. So very much just mono black good stuff. Or kind of weenie, a little bit more on the aggressive side, drain them out. Want to try to get a Ayara out as early as possible, then start dropping your creatures. A lot of our creatures kind of suck, so oh, there's our boy Oko. So even if Oko turns them into Elks, I don't particularly care. This hand's very slow, so I'm going to take the free mulligan. Okay, sounds much better. Rankle having haste is relevant. So I'm going to play Foulmire out on 1. I can put some pressure on the opponent. And then the Death Touch can be relevant. If he wants to turn it into an Elk, he can. So I'm just going to put the Witch's Cottage into play tapped here. So we can play Rankle on curve. Because they likely go Ayara, like with Ayara out, he probably turns it into an Elk. You got Paradise Druid. It's just like standard. Okay, we got the Oven, which is nice. So they likely don't go for this here. We'll have them turn this into an Elk. If they don't, there's value, but also with Witch's Oven, we can just sack the Ayara. The one thing with Paradise Druid is they're only a land away from casting Oko a second time. But if we can get up to Liliana, we should be okay. The opponent has the hardest decision ever of, do I tap my island, forest, and forest? Ooh, they go Kiara. So here they can ramp up quite a bit. We can go Rankle, force him to sack a creature, and have discard a card. I kind of like the cards in my hand. Let's just go aggro. Force him to discard. So they block the Foulmire Knight. So we'll just sacrifice the Knight here. I want to keep it open so we have Cavalier if we need to blow up a creature here. Keeps him off 6 mana this turn. We can deal with a Bioessence Hydra if it comes down. I think it's proper in this matchup to just go as fast as possible. The one thing is with Oko, we can't necessarily send this to the graveyard to get it back. This opponent's playing very slow. It's fine. Okay, so Gruesome Menagerie is pretty sweet. They missed a line drop. So we probably just take out Oko this turn. It's very laggy. No value on this one. Just a 4-5 for 5. I just want to put as much pressure as possible on them. We don't really have much for a menagerie right now. We drew a lot of our top end, oddly enough. Would like to see another land for the Liliana. So they can play Oko. Turn something into 3-3 again. They take 8 this turn. This is whenever a black creature enters the battlefield. Okay, so they have Bioessence. So, kind of punished there. So let's go Order Midnight. Get back the Foulmire Knight. Okay, so we got Mobilized District. Kind of annoying because it doesn't let us cast it this turn. Think we just go... Just hold back. I got Liliana next turn, so I can deal with the board. Probably just block and sack. This will get pretty big pretty fast, but we've been gaining a lot of incidental life gain. That's fine. That doesn't kill us, and don't care about the pro blue. So we do need to find an answer for that sooner than later. Might just throw the Rankle in the way. Or we could just Liliana our minus. Does it have Vigilance? Of course it does. Let's... No blocks here. Okay, we got a swamp. So this lets me Foulmire Knight, gain a life. So let's sack the two of them. And draw a couple cards. I think here it's probably a little troublesome. Let's just go face. Gain some life back. If they have haste this turn, they're likely going after Liliana anyways. Ugin can take down whatever threat comes next. If not, they take 2 damage from this being upticked. This also gets back Foulmire Knight if it dies. Okay, well they got Quester. They can gain 2 or 3 life this turn as well. Does get rid of Liliana. opponent is playing so slow. So they hit us for 4. We attack them back for the 4 damage. Can also just Ugin minus on the questing beast. Jesus, opponent. A little annoying that does take out Liliana. Green only has like a couple haste threats. We also have Mobilized District, which can attack in if we can clear the board. There was a play to sack one of these, but neither of these can block the questing beast anyways. Come on. Let's go, opponent. Go Tamio. That could get back Bioessence Hydra. Yep, that's fine. So we'll attack in here. If they block, we get Foulmire back. So it drains them 1. Let's see what we draw. Ooh. Okay, so we got Cat. I think we got him here. And then 2 off that, and we exact seize them. It's actually like the best draw on the deck. Gotcha. Sweet. 2-0, 2-0. Both decks showed up, did what they needed to do. Fairy formation, nice mana sink, create some fairies. So let's just give Rena a quick second to cool down. They gotta prioritize some of these bug fixes. So we'll play the Teferi deck next to get a feel for our Planeswalker. And then we'll probably wrap it up for this one, and I'll come back with some more decks for the next video. So this Teferi deck is a Teferi No Fun Police is what I call it. So basically just a bunch of tax effects, kind of a control prison-y style. Giant Killer's removal and can tap down creatures. Hushbringer turns down an ETB. So just a bunch of like removal counters, effects like that. Hour Glory is one of the ways you win with Teferi at instant speed. You got Mass Manipulation. A couple colors like that. You got like a lot of these adventure cards are good because they're dual purpose. Agent of Treachery steals himself. Cavalier Gales. We are playing a Field of the Dead in here because we have enough of the lands to support it. So we'll run it from that. So this deck would probably have a harder time against... I keep doing that from habit. Oko. So let's give this a shot. See how he goes. I also gotta check. We were in the. I think it was like 1050 on Mythic rank, so we were in the top 1200 as of yesterday. Nico Bolas. This will actually be an interesting matchup. I think we're gonna build Bolas fighters. I gotta check Fires of Invention if it's from your hand or from your graveyard. I actually don't like this hand. Too much late game. This hand's much better. I got Dovin's Veto. So I can go Arcane Signet and then Teferi. An aggressive build. I think we just set up our mana here. Next turn I'll probably just play out Teferi to slow this down. Dreadhorde can obviously kill it, but it'll tempo them out at least a bit. There's also Gadwick, which I prefer to hold for later in the game. And that's actually quite good. So let's just go Teferi here. This resets it, so we also take less damage. Okay, so we need to hit something here. A land. I do have Guild Globe that can hopefully draw us into it. That's annoying. Sets us back a bit on tempo. And then Nico Bolas. Just put in the command zone. Okay, so we are somewhat priced this turn into holding up Veto. It's not the best use, but can't have a Bolas resolve. Also don't think we can have Narset stay around us. We need to gain the card advantage. So they're going to get a turn of Bolas before we can Prison Realm it. This on turn 2 puts a lot of pressure on us. Okay, well, that was a really good play by the opponent, just from a tempo standpoint. So I'm just going to get rid of the Narset's reversal here. So let's just Prison Realm. Want to set it up so it can draw land. So these work well with Teferi because you can like bounce them back to your hand and get 2 draws. So we have Ugin, and if we draw land, we also have Meteor Golem for next turn. So that is a turn. They get a zombie. So I'm going to do this because it's a blocker. And then I'll just get rid of the Prison Realm. If they play Nico Bolas again. Might be able to stabilize here. Gadwick refills our hand, which is nice. Being able to answer like the Liliana and the Narset's good for this deck. Just gotta get rid of Bolus Part 2. So you're 5, I could bounce. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Probably just keep Teferi for the turn. We could bounce it. Let's go Narset this turn. I will gladly take that. Oh, so let's target tapped creature. So you just filter our mana. We'll just pass the turn. This gives us a couple options. I didn't want to play either our Planeswalkers right now because Bolus can copy the ability. I'd rather try to be able to play Teferi and bounce and get some value. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Another mana we can reset Prison Realm. At the very worst, Mujanling, if it makes an elemental, I can bounce it. Just give me a second, I'm going to turn the light on. So here, it's Narset first. Ooh. Yes, please. There goes Spectral Sailor. So this Summary Judgment for the Spectral Sailor this turn. Soon as I'm gonna just steal this Bolus when they play it. So 4, 8, so I can take 2 things. Be interesting to see what they prioritize. They may be inclined to take Narset off the field this turn. Cool. So depending how they attack, so here you're going after Narset, you're going after Teferi. I think I'd rather keep Teferi alive. Because I can steal this. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So or if I just Meteor Golem. No, I think we got to do this. So this makes this weaker. This protects us. Puts us up a life. And now we just start kind of playing threats like that. I got a couple answers for Nico Bolas this turn that it comes down. They can copy Teferi's ability to bounce the Legion War Boss. But I really just want to tax them on this card. And then 2 active Planeswalkers. We could have kept this, but we were a couple mana off from the Finale of Glory. Having Teferi in your command zone feels really good. Fortunately, don't have much to take advantage of the plus right now on it. I can look to start just making 4/4s, but I would imagine the Bolas deck has ways to deal with it. They can just also target down on one of these. Or you come at 4, so you can -3, make a 4/4. They have some options. Ooh, that's very good. So I imagine they put an emblem on us. That's odd. So just have these attack like this. So here you can go Castle Ardenvale. I think we go just start gaining some life. And then I could just make tokens this turn. Block on the ground a bit. I can Gadwick as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'd rather do a big Gadwick. We can also set ourselves up with a Scry. I don't want to do Ugin because Ugin, like Nico Bolas could copy Ugin's ability. There's nothing really on the board I want to down tick on. Could have made a token this turn. Okay, so Bolas is probably coming down. Soul Diviner. They are forced to play on our turn, so not sure why they shocked. Probably gonna go with the Scry. Yeah, let's do Law Mage. This turns off Soul Diviner. Oh, I actually did that backwards. I could have tapped down. So we'll make a token this turn. So just force these attacks in. Yeah, so I did that wrong because what I could have done was tap this down and then attack in with all of them. So it's 3. I can do this for 5. Refill our hand. Perfect. So we got absorb for the next time Bolus comes down. Dealt with the big scary ones. Probably just get rid of Hushbringer. Fires of Invention. So Meteor Golem can also deal with that, which is nice. 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 12. See what they target here. As expected. So that'll be good next turn, like the combination of fires with the open mana. I'm just gonna Meteor Golem this turn and then hold up Absorb. Ooh, Cavalier Gales is nice. So let's go Meteor. Actually, we probably had enough to just attack in. That's fine.
Let's try this.
So I can do Hushbringer and then hold up Absorb as well. Actually, Hushbringer's a non-bow with Cavalier Gales, so I'll hold off on it. We also, if need be, have the option of Realm Cloak at instant speed. They can cast this twice with fires. So yeah, I made a mistake there. I should have got rid of Fires of Invention and then just attacked in. Might draw a card. Draw another card. So I wonder how this works with commander tax. We'll find out. Nope, just costs 5. So I need to put Fires of Invention in my red decks. This player's playing so slow. I don't know what's up with these 33. So we'll let them have that, because if they play Nico Bolas this turn, I just counter it with the Absorb. If they don't, then I play Ugin and then minus on this, and then they're taxed out of... Yep, that's fine. So we'll see how they attack. I'll just make a token.
I won't let you win.
That's a cool way to ultimate. You gain a life, so that can make it bigger. Let's go Ugin. Get rid of fires. So I'm gonna make another token. Let's tap down the zombie. Our pride mates get bigger. And just plus Teferi. So here, let's attack with the big boys, put some pressure on them. And we have the protection. If they do have a board wipe, Bolus costs 9 mana so they're mana off from Bolus. They can hit Ugin, but I hope they try to do this pre-combat so I can tap down the Spectral Sailor. Actually, they can't because I have a flyer now, so I can protect it. That's fine. They'll take down Ugin, but I'd rather keep this for Nicol Bolas. We don't have an answer for it. We gotta be mindful of the cards in our library. They are falling a bit behind as well. Like, these keep getting bigger. Gadwick could tap down stuff, and then next turn we get Cavalier down. So they're gonna take the absorb anyways. So might as well get the utility out of it. So if they have Ritualist Soot, clears our board, with the exception of the Meteor Golem. Gatwick only costs 3 CMC. Benthic Biomancer I'm not worried about. That's fine. So, enters battlefield with page counter on it. So let's plus you first. Let's go Cavalier. Tap down the Biomancer. Okay, let's put Hushbringer back and Tome back. I'm going to surveil these back anyways, so we have the counter spell. Here, let's just make another Ajani token. Gain the life. Just go all in. We can make tokens. Pretty much got him dead. Got counter in hand, and then Snapcaster back. We can also Snapcaster back Mass Manipulation at instant speed. So we got him dead quite a few ways. Got him. 3-0. One with all 3 of our decks. So I'm going to wrap this one up. So we played the Kykar's 1000-Year Storm deck. What do? Taste the Death. Each player sacrifices 3 creatures, creates 3 foods. Pretty mediocre. So we played Kykar Teferi Brawl, and Ayara Brawl. So catch all the videos on YouTube if you missed anything. Let me know in the video comments on YouTube down below which Brawl commanders you'd like to see for part 2, and I'll try to get that up as soon as possible. As always, thanks for watching, and have a great one.